Hi, WonderWomen. It's Ngazi from Aurora Wellness, and I'd like to talk to you today about harnessing the power of the word no. So, for those of you who read my blog post this week, I talk about the 5 steps to more effective time management. And one of the first steps, in fact, the most fundamental step, is making sure you haven't got too much on your plate to achieve in that day. So we talk about selectiveness and ways in which you can select what should be on your work schedule in the first place. But so many people, especially women, I know, struggle with saying no to jobs and tasks or opportunities that come their way. And I thought it was important that we discuss this as WonderWomen, because without being able to pick and choose and be selective and firm in our selections, without being able to say no, there's no way you're going to be able to achieve that kind of balance that you're looking for, and that in effective time management. When we're toddlers, we find no such an easy word to say. I know I've got a 4-year-old boy, and he doesn't struggle telling me when he doesn't want to do something. And he's very adamant about it. So we grow up as young people knowing that the power of the word no. But as we get older, we get taught by our parents and by society that no is a difficult word. It makes you a difficult person if you say no too often. That if you want to be seen as a team player, as flexible and amenable, you need to say yes to every opportunity that comes your way. We're seeing that yes is the selfless, it's the sharing, it's the caring word. And I don't disagree with that. But what I want you to understand is that saying yes all the time isn't necessarily the selfless option. Because every time you say yes to something, you're going to have to say no to something else. And as women, what we tend to do is say yes to everyone else and say no to ourselves. So hands up if you've ever cancelled a date because you wanted to help someone out. Ever had to give up on going to the gym because you had to get in to do some extra work. Ever given up on a shopping trip you were looking forward to because you had to do something else for someone else. We've always sacrificed ourselves for other people. And although occasionally this can be expected, if we constantly do that, it leads to stress, anxiety, overwhelm, and eventually depression. And that's what we're here to try and minimize or reduce. So I really want you guys to embrace the importance of the word no. So how do we do that? For me, the simplest way to do this is to identify what your priorities are in life. So if you think of time as a pie or a circle, there's only so much. It's fixed. It's 24 hours. We all get it. We're just one woman, and we only have 24 hours in a day. So how we spend that is up to us. And that should be based on what you've decided your priorities in life are. For me, that's my family and friends. That's my work and my career. That's my community life. And that's my private personal time as well. So that takes up a good chunk of my pie. Say it takes up 80%. It's that 20% that I need to determine whether or not to say yes to. And my knee-jerk reaction, because I'm the kind of person who always wants to help, always wants to be there for other people, I'd say yes to everything, therefore eating into the other pots of the pie. And it was always either myself or my family that I'd let down. But now I'm more strategic about how I say yes and to what. And the things I say yes to have to align with those priorities I've already identified. So if it directly aligns to helping my family and my friends, to furthering my career, to helping my community with charity work or something like that, or with spending a little bit of time just for myself, even if that's just a long bath or a walk in the park or a trip to the gym, then I can say yes if I have time. If it doesn't directly fit with those priorities, if it maybe supports but doesn't directly align, then I might have to say not yet, or not this year, or not this week. If it doesn't fit at all, then I'll have to find ways to say no. And I might say no by flat out saying no, I can't help you. Or I might say no by saying, I can't do this, but I have a friend who might be able to help. And that's a softer way of letting someone down. But ultimately, you have to make a decision, because you cannot say yes to everything. And the important thing is to learn to say no and not feel guilty about it. If you spend all your time angsting about whether or not people are going to like you after you've said no, then you've wasted that time that you've saved. So I want you to practice saying no to things that don't align with your own priorities, and not to feel guilty about it. Just find ways of letting people down gently but firmly, and making sure that you only have on your plate what you are willing and capable of doing. So that's it. I hope this has helped encourage some of you. I'd love to hear from you. I've put a link to the blog post in the comments with this video. If you haven't had the chance, please take a look. And I'd love to hear back from some of you Wonder Women about how you say no, and how it is you manage your day. What tricks do you use, and have you ever struggled with this? So we'd love to hear from you. Okay, that's it. Thanks. Bye.